10 things you need to know about your target customer or client. That's what we're talking about today, so stick around. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Alan, and on this channel, we talk all things sales funnels and digital marketing. Now, you've probably heard about the importance of customer avatars before to build your business or to sell any product or service. Now, as a quick little reminder, customer avatars are specific characters, you can say, of who you are targeting your offer at. Now, despite this popularity, most businesses still choose the shotgun method, which means aiming their product and offer at as many people as they can. Now, to be fair, there are some things you choose about your target customer or client, but most of what you have to learn about them, you actually have to research and find out. Now, there's no one factor that tells you everything you need to know about your audience. However, of course, there are some factors that matter more than others. In any case, the more you learn about your prospects, your audience, and your target customer or client, the better you can tailor your message toward them. Whether it's your target customer, client, lifestyle, or even significant other, the point is that you can't hit a target if you haven't clearly defined what it is. So let's take a look at 10 things you need to know or should know about your target customer or client. Number 10 on our list is that it's not everyone. Now, believe it or not, this is a problem for established businesses as much as it is for beginner businesses, because most people say, I want to attract as many people as possible. Everyone could benefit from what I'm selling, so I'm going to target this to as many people as I can. Well, as nice and even as true as that may be, that doesn't work. For example, if you have a Mac or PC or some type of car or anything that you really care about and something goes wrong with it, are you going to go to the generalist that fixes all types of things? Or are you going to the specialist that specifically focuses on fixing Macs or Dell PCs or Alfa Romeo cars or BMWs or whatever it is? So why wouldn't your customers want the exact same thing? So when you're choosing who you're aiming at and who you are marketing your offer at, keep in mind that people don't want something that applies to everyone. They want something that is specific to them and their situation. Number 9 are pain points. Now, this might be the most important thing. Now, every business is really just solving a problem. The purpose of any business, from Coca-Cola to Dell to Apple to pretty much any other, all they do is solve problems. So how do you solve a problem? You find out what those problems are, what those pains are, and then you introduce a product or service to fix it. Now, when it comes to consumer behavior, taking action, or buying, people are much more likely to be moved away from pain than toward pleasure. So, for example, if you have a huge toothache, then you are definitely going to go to the dentist. But if you want a wider smile, let's say, then you might go to the dentist or to whoever when you have time. So the point is, if you want something, you want to move toward pleasure, you'll get to it eventually. But if you are moving away from pain, from something you don't like, you are much more likely to take action, to buy, and to do whatever it takes to solve that problem. So back to what you should know about your target audience is learn what their pain points are. What is giving them the biggest headaches? What are their fears? What are their pains? And then create a solution to solve it. Next on our list are goals and desires. So whatever it is that you sell, a coaching program, a microphone, a car, a shampoo, whatever it is, try to find out, why does your audience want that thing? So let's say microphones. If you're selling microphones, what are their goals and desires that they think having that microphone will help them to achieve? You may have heard the phrase, sell the hole, not the drill. The same concept applies here. And there's another good phrase that kind of goes along with that goes, sell futures, not features. So the point is, you want to promise or let them know the end point or the future that buying from you will get them. The next thing you should know are their heroes and values. Now, to be fair, when somebody has heroes, it's usually because they share the same values. So whether it be duty, responsibility, happiness, or whatever it might be, the point is that people idolize their heroes and they want to feel connected to them. So you should give it to them if you can. So when you are showing success stories, testimonials, case studies, or any type of this is what we can do for you, you should show the type of person that they are, the type of person your audience is to start, and then show how after buying from you, they become their hero, or at least closer to them or closer like them. The next thing to know are their hobbies and interests. Now, the big problem when it comes to marketers and entrepreneurs is they just can't understand how other people wouldn't be interested in the same things that they themselves are interested in. So lesson number one, when it comes to finding out the hobbies and interests of your target customers and clients, are to realize and accept that they are not the same as yours. And even if some of them are, find out more about them, their favorite vacation spots or side hobbies, because of course, nobody only has one or two interests. So do what you can to find out more about what they like to do on their weekends, on their free time, with their friends, and so forth. What do you think are the most important things to know about your audience? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5 is their media and advice consumption. So for example, how do they consume media and advice? This could be what devices do they use? What channels do they watch? What YouTube channels? What TV channels? Do they still watch TV? Do they have streaming services? All of this fits into the same umbrella, which goes under media and advice. As for the advice half of this, it all comes down to who do they trust? And that usually comes down to who agrees with their preconceived notions. So even when it comes to their friends, or their favorite news reporter or YouTube personality or whatever, who they trust and who they watch tends to be who already agrees with many of their opinions, or who has things, who shares their values, or who has things to teach them, which kind of goes back to that hero factor. The next things to know are their occupation, income, and assets. Pretty much everything that's money related. Now, when it comes to money-related things, when it comes to your audience and target customer or clients, it's important to know that you should choose these things. You should choose how much money they have, how much disposable income they have. The job and occupation thing might be a little bit more second tier here, but just keep in mind that you should definitely choose how wealthy or how well off or how willing to buy your product, how willing and able to buy whatever you're selling your audience is. So like I mentioned, income and occupation, those are a little bit too unpredictable, so maybe you can't zero in on those things, but definitely take the time to zero in on as much as you can about those things. Where do most of your best customers or clients come from? What are their jobs, their income, their neighborhoods? Are they homeowners? What other type of assets do they have or are they interested in? All of these things, it may not seem super extremely directly related to what you're selling, depending on what it is that you sell. But overall, it is good to at least know these things because, for example, homeowners are very different people than renters or other types of people. So depending on what you sell, this is very good information to know. The next things to know are age and gender. Now, while these things may seem simple, they are actually harder to predict than you might think. Now, I heard a great example about candles once, that candle sellers tend to think a certain type of person buys candles. And in the example I heard, they predicted that young females tend to buy candles. But what they found with more research is that a much wider array of people buy candles than they thought, and for different purposes. So different people of different ages, of different genders, buy them for different purposes. Many people buy them as gifts. Some people buy them as decoration and never even light them. Other people buy them for the smell. So that's just kind of a weird little example. But the point is that age and gender are not as clear-cut and obvious as you might think they are. Now, that being said, there will be a type of person who particularly buys what you are selling. So once you find out who that is, if it's men in their 40s or women in their 20s, or even two of those, it may be any combination of any gender and range, whoever you find out it is, double down and market to them especially. The next things to know are their relationship and family status. So for example, are most people in your audience in a relationship, or married, or cohabitating, or divorced? Any one of these factors can play a huge role in narrowing down who it is that you sell to. Now, if you sell microphones, for example, whether your audience is married or not may not seem like a big deal. And to be fair, depending on what you're selling, it may not be as big of a deal as some of these other factors. But in any case, it doesn't take you much more effort or much extra research to find out a little bit more about them. And if it ends up not being a factor, that's fine. Even better that you know that actually. But for many products, it is a factor because people who are married, people who are single, people who are divorced, all of these people think differently and are more receptive to different messages, different products, different offers. So take the time to learn a little bit more about them so you can tailor your message appropriately. The next thing to know is their education level or even their opinion about education. So for example, do they have a degree? Do they want a degree? Do they hate people who have degrees? And are they anti the academia and establishment? All of this is great information to know. Now, if you're targeting entrepreneurs, they tend to care less about formal education, although many of them do have a degree of some sort. And also keep in mind that age and generation also plays a big factor into the idea of education and whether they have a degree or not. So if people in the older generations, let's say born in 1980 and before, they really care about having a degree. It matters a lot to them. It signifies something to them. It's a value for them. But people born after 1980, especially after 1990, they tend to think differently about degrees. So in any case, consider all of these factors when you are researching your target customer or client and where education fits in. And the most important step, as always, is to hit the like button and subscribe. If you learned something today, it does help a lot. And definitely write a comment below if you have any ideas for topics you want me to talk about in future videos. Who's your target customer? Can you define at least 5 of these factors about them? Comment below and let me know. For more help generating leads, building your list, and more, then definitely grab my free guide below for 20 ways to generate more leads and sales from your funnel. Well, that wraps us up for today. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.